Be serious when he prays.
Are you guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Father God, I just pray for this time. I pray that you bless and you guide it for each of these boys. I thank you for them. I pray that you would just guide and direct what they hear. I pray it be interpreted well and that they would learn and grow from it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Chicago is a city in need of a hero. Michael Jordan fulfilled that role and then some.
His total dominance and movement to the floor. When you start thinking about all that he paid to be his greatest player ever play.
Determination, his will to keep coming at you and never stop.
Root for guy in the opening game. The 34th-point game. It's a different time. Let's see this guy do it. And what stood out the most in the players.
best basketball player ever, but probably more importantly, the best competitor ever.
Michael was a guy who, he wanted to win. He wanted to achieve that goal. And he was a guy that you could see step up to a certain level to help his team win.
Quickness and strength all together. To me, realistically, it's probably the closest thing you could ever come to a perfect physique basketball.
He's the greatest player of all time. Nobody can finish his period.
This is the guy who we let, and we say it with great pride, and we say it with great honor to have played with him in this level.
Most fundamental sound basketball players.
First guy that I've seen who's super athletic.
Michael Jordan was born February 17th, 1963. He grew up in Wilmington, North Carolina. He went to North Carolina University in 1981. He made the championship winning basket his freshman year and earned Rookie of the Year there in North Carolina. MJ was drafted by the Chicago Bulls in 1984 before graduating from college. He led the league in scoring, giving him NBA Rookie of the Year in that year. Then he thought he almost lost everything. His second season, he came down flat-footed, too hard, and he actually broke his foot. His second season, playing for the Chicago Bulls, making him miss most of his second season. His future was thrown into doubt. He didn't know what was going to happen. But he healed, and he actually came back with a vengeance, and he led the league, again, scoring the top scorer for the next 7 seasons, making him MVP for 5 of those 7. Michael Jordan led the Bulls to 6 national championships, 2 three-peats, in 91, 92, and 93, then in 96, 97, and 98. NBA.com lists Michael Jordan as the 5th highest in overall stats in the NBA. But the NBA, as well as most of the other sources, place Jordan as the best basketball player of all time, beating out an overall LeBron, Kobe, Bird, and Chamberlain in overall performance. Now, as a kid, I'm going to have a little flashback for you guys. You may appreciate this. As a kid, I grew up in the 90s. I was born in 82. And so when I hit the 90s, I was age enough to know who Michael Jordan was, right? Everybody wanted to be Mike. Everybody did. Everyone wanted to be Michael Jordan. He made basketball exciting to watch. You have to understand, I don't know if you can imagine this or not, but in the 90s, we weren't watching the NBA. We weren't watching even the Chicago Bulls. We were watching Michael Jordan. That's what we were watching. It was a phenomenon to watch him. It was so exciting. I used to play a game when I was a kid. It was called Us Being Them. Do you know what I mean by us being them? Us being them. Called Us Being Them. So if we watched a movie or watched a sporting event or something, me and my best friend, we would go out and we would pretend that we were them. We were us being them. And we'd play basketball down at the local park. And we were always Michael Jordan. And can you guess who else? Nope, played for the Bulls. Nope, played for the Bulls, 90s.
Dennis Rodman.
If there was a third player, it was Dennis Rodman. No. Scottie Pippen.
I said that.
So it was...
3 times.
Oh, sorry, Austin. You got to speak up, bro. I can't hear you. I'm sorry. So it was Michael Jordan and my best friend, Scottie Pippen, and we'd always fight to who was going to be Michael Jordan. So we had to trade. Now, if it was the third guy that played, he was either Horace Grant, Dennis Rodman, something like that. We played Us Being Them. When I was 10 or 11, I went to Chicago with my dad, and I love Michael Jordan. I had the Bulls. You ever seen those big, shiny, like, I think they were made by, who were they made by in the 90s? Those really bright, shiny, plasticky jackets. Who made those? Champion? You remember those sports jackets? They're really shiny in the 90s.
Bro, what?
Man, I can't remember. What? Starter jackets, thank you. I had the Chicago Bulls starter jacket. I was the Detroit Lions, because I had to be somewhat faithful, right? But I had the Chicago Bulls starter jacket. We were in Chicago, and my dad, he knew that I loved the Chicago Bulls. He knew I loved Michael Jordan. So he took me down. He took me down to, I think it was called Chicago Stadium. I think that's what it was called. I think I may have wrote it down. Took me down to, Chicago Stadium, where the Bulls played. Now, unfortunately, it was off-season. They weren't playing. But I remember seeing the stadium, and they had these big Chicago Bulls. You know the Bull logo? They had it huge on all the windows, all the way down. I remember just seeing that. It was so cool. And I went up to the front door, and it was clonk, clonk. It was locked. But as a 10 or 11-year-old, I felt that door. And I remember thinking as a kid, MJ's gone through this door. I remember thinking that. I don't know if he really went through the front door or not. I'm sure he didn't during game days. But I remember being there and seeing the Chicago Bulls logo, seeing where Michael Jordan was. I was just that much closer to my hero. He was my hero in the 90s. Today, Michael Jordan is worth $3 billion. $3 billion. Making him the first professional athlete to rank among America's wealthiest people. He's in the Forbes 400. I don't know if you know that or not. The top 400 most wealthiest people in the United States.
Is he a billionaire?
Yeah, $3 billion. Yep. Besides earning $90 million playing for the Chicago Bulls, he made most of his wealth through a deal he made early with who? Nike. Did you say that? Right? With Nike. You thought I was saying put it on my socks? Yeah, I got you. That was really funny. Early in his career, he made a deal with Nike. Now, he didn't want to make a deal with Nike. He didn't even really like Nike. Nike was a track company. They weren't a basketball shoe company. Who was? Does anyone know? Adidas. That's who he wanted to. You read my notes. Yeah, whatever, Isaac. I saw you up here. Don't look at me like that. He wanted to sign with Adidas. They were at the time, they were the cool brand, and that's who he wanted to sign with. Tyler. Yes, sir.
What do you mean, like, worth $3 billion?
His net worth. Who's Tyler? That's how much money he has.
He has a net worth of $3 billion. That's what he's worth in cash, assets, that sort of thing. If you were to...
When you say that, if I was to, like execute him,
He doesn't have a debit card that's $3 billion on it. That's not what it is. So it's everything he owns, accounts, investments, property is worth $3 billion. It's called a net worth.
No, it's not like that.
So when we say net worth, like if you look up someone online, what is so-and-so worth? That's their assets, property, investments, and it'd be some cash, if they have a bank account or something, if that makes sense. And then you have to subtract the debt though too. So you have the assets, maybe he has assets of $6 billion, but maybe he has debts of $3 billion. So he's actually worth $3 billion. See how that works? For example, right? Okay. That's a good question though. So he made $90 million playing for the Bulls, but most of his earnings came from a 5% deal with Nike. So originally he signed a 5-year contract with Nike, and Nike was, they existed, right? They were a company, but they were not who they are today, not even close. In 2022, it's reported that he made $250 million just in 2022 on Nike. Just on Nike. Isn't that wild?
5%?
Yeah, for the 5%, correct. Yep. 2022. Yep. But a conservative estimate, if you average his income, and it goes up and down, because it's based on a percentage, right? It goes up and down with Nike. On an average conservative guesstimate, about $100 million a year. I don't know if we all understand what $100 million a year is, so I actually broke it down. You want to hear what this is? This is kind of fun. I like numbers sometimes, so here's what $100 million a year looks like. You ready? $100 million a year turns out to be $8.3 million a month. Okay, a month. Oh, I'm getting there, sir. It is 1.9, so almost 2 million a week. Monday to Monday, about $2 million that he just makes profit. 274,000 a day.
Yo, he's rolling in dough.
$11,400 an hour.
How much?
$190. $190 a minute.
How much a second?
You ready for a second? $3.18. $3.18. $3.18.
Bro.
$3.18.
Faster than that.
Is that too fast? A little faster?
When you start, as soon as you started, making
Yeah.
out how much he would make, he
Right.
probably already made like $400 million.
Just in the time that we're going to talk here, hour-ish, right? 45 hour total, right? What did we say that was? $11,000. Isn't that nuts? That's just wild. That's what $100 million looks like a year. And you got to remember, in 2022, it was more than double that, $250 million. So take those numbers and just exasperate it.
Why'd you do that?
Yes, sir.
I got a question. How much money is he making per minute?
$190 per minute. Isn't that crazy? Here's what's fun. The average income, listen up, the average income in Michigan, $60,000 a year. Okay? So in about 5-6 hours, hours. So from the time that you guys started school and you got out of school, that's the equal amount that someone made on average in Michigan for the whole year.
How much do you make an hour?
That's insane. That's insane. $11,400 per hour.
How many in a week?
1.9 million in a week. And then a month was 8.3 and $100 million. You know, the $3.18 a second, I mean, that may sound like a lot, but you add that up, how many seconds are in a year? I mean, it's just off the charts. That's just insane. So MJ makes more in 6 hours than most of us do in a whole year. Isn't that crazy? He has also had multiple businesses, multiple real estate deals, buying and selling sports teams, that sort of thing, and those kind of related deals. He owned the Charlotte Hornets for 13 years. I don't know if you knew that. He just sold them. He just sold them, right? Yep. I don't remember. I didn't look that up. Yeah, it was a lot. He sold the majority of his ownership. He still owns a little bit of the Charlotte Hornets, but it was some millions of dollars, if not billions. I don't remember. I'd have to look it up. Yes, sir?
Is Michael Jordan still alive?
He is still alive. Yes, sir. Yep.
He's well 76. Wait, who died? Kobe Bryant.
So he owned the Charlotte Hornets for 13 years, and then he sold them just recently, like, what, 3-4 months ago? I mean, it was like really recently. Right. Less than a year, that's right. Yes, sir.
Isn't he about like 76? He's like,
no.
Well, he was born in, I didn't do the math on that. He was born in 63.
65.
He was born in 63. He'll be 65, is that right? Or something like that? Okay.
Yeah, he'd be 55.
So 73, 83, 93, 2003, 2013, 2023, he'd be 61. Well, he was born in February, so he just had a birthday, so he'd be 61. There you go.
Be old.
Get out of here.
He's still playing basketball. He's dunking on all the little kids in his neighborhood.
All right, let me give you a couple unusual facts about MJ. You ready? Unusual facts. If you're writing stuff down, I would write this down.
That's not fair.
No, it's not. It's not true either. But you can write it down if you want. MJ originally, I already mentioned this, but MJ did not originally want to endorse with Nike. He liked Adidas. That's what he wanted to sign with. But his manager and his mother, correct, encouraged him to go sign with Nike. So he went to the meeting and he ended up signing with Nike, a 5-year deal worth $2.5 million.
But Ronnie, did you see that ad where it was her mom, or it was his mom, and she was like, let me show you how to dunk?
Yeah, 2.5 million. Early.
Bro.
Yeah.
Bro, did you see that?
Oh, I did see that, and then it's like
completely different.
it's a different. It's a man,
It's a man.
and he dunks. I did see that. Yeah.
Then she says, that's how you show some razzle dazzle.
Yeah, I did see that. In 2022, the Jordan brand reached $5 billion in sales. He still gets 5% from Nike. So how many of you have something Nike or Jordan on right now?
Not on right now.
Not right now?
Well, I did earlier.
A third, you did, that's right. Nike. Yep. So a third or better of you right now. The Jordan brand, I wore my Jordans on purpose, obviously, for today. I wanted to do that. And so he got 5% of those Jordan sales. So these Jordans right here, he personally got 5% of that. Isn't that wild? Isn't that wild?
Mom and who else?
His management. Yep. Manager and his mom. Another fun fact about MJ. In 1990, he had to play one game against the Orlando Magic wearing the number 12 jersey. Just one game. He had to wear the number 12. Because he went back to the locker room to get suited up, and guess what wasn't there? His jersey had been stolen. They found out that it was a worker of that stadium, and I think it was like a security worker or something, and he had gotten access into the locker room. He took Michael Jordan's jersey and he hid it up in the rafters, up in like the ceiling tiles, and he was going to return later and, of course, sell it. That's what he was going to do. But they found it, but not in time for the game. So he had to go out there and he had to play in the number 12 just for one game against the Orlando Magic. He still scored 45 points or something crazy like that or whatever. So that happened.
Do you know why you chose 23?
I can tell you that. I don't have it in this, but I can talk to you about that. Number 3 is this. This is an interesting thing. Michael Jordan doesn't like being in water.
What?
He doesn't care for water. Something tragic happened when he was a kid, actually. I think he was 8 or 9. Did I write it down? I didn't write it down. When he was a child, one of his best friends drowned right in front of him while he was swimming. I don't know if it was a pool, I don't know if it was a lake, I don't remember what it was. But his friend drowned, and so he kind of developed this phobia of water. Now, like everything else in Michael Jordan's life, he didn't want things to stop him. So he basically kind of got over the phobia, but he still is uncomfortable around big bodies of water, especially little boats. He doesn't like it. And so oftentimes there may be pictures of him like on even yachts and boats and stuff, but what does he have on? Does anyone know? He's got a life vest on of some sort. And now they have those slim life vests that inflate when it gets wet. So sometimes he wears that. He just doesn't care for water. Now he did have a phobia for a while, but he did get over that or process through that, because that's just kind of his style. So he did. He processed through his grief. Very good, Willie. All right, let me give you some lessons. Yes, sir.
Why did Michael Jordan choose number 23?
Okay, I can tell you that. So here's why Michael Jordan has the number 23. Does anyone know?
Because that's the age he started at, right?
Nope.
No?
Nope. That's really his. And I'll give you a hint. He also had the number what later on? 45. It has to do with number 45. Does anybody know?
That's how many points he scored his first game.
Nope. So here was what it was. And it also, a little close, also his tongue wag, like when he's doing a move or dunking, a lot of times he sticks his tongue out. I'll tell you why he does that too. Does anyone know why he does that? Do you know why he does that?
5 points.
Or where it came from?
It's like, it made me pay attention more.
Nope.
Bro, what?
No? Good guess.
It confuses the other player.
Okay. All right. So let me tell you this. So here's why he's number 23. You ready? His older brother was always 45 when they were playing. This is when they were playing sports when he was younger, before he was in college. He wanted number 45. He always liked number 45, but his older brother was older than him, so he got number 45. So what's about half of 45? 23. It's like 22.5, obviously, but No, that's a different story. I'm gonna get to that too. So the number 23 is because it's half of 45. And so he just stuck with number 23. And that's why he switched to 45 later, because then he could have the 45 that he always wanted. Isn't that wild? So originally he wanted number 45, but he just stuck with 23 because his older brother wanted it. Yes, sir?
His older brother died 45 after he came back out of retirement?
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the retirements, yeah. After the Wizards and all that, yeah.
Did his older brother die?
I don't know if he died now, but that wasn't the one that drowned. That was a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to tell you about the tongue wag thing, or you got something, Avante? No, it's a little more, that would be a good story. But no, it's a little more boring than that. When he was around the house, who said his dad? Did you say his dad? So when his dad was working on something, like he was fixing the sink or he was cooking, he would be sticking his tongue out. He would be like, kind of like going like that, and I'm gonna fix that thing. Have you ever seen people do that? That's what his dad would do. And so he just kind of developed that. And so he said that, people have asked him about the tongue wag. He says, I don't even realize I'm doing it. It's just kind of a natural thing that I had from a kid that my dad did. And I'm not working on a sink, I'm dunking a basketball, but I just stick my tongue out and I don't even realize I'm doing it. So that's a little more boring than like sticking the tongue out at the big brother, But no, it's just because his dad did it and he just picked it up from him as a habit. Junior?
What happened in 1983?
What happened in 1983? Is this a prize question? Do I get a prize if I tell you in 83? I don't know, bro. What did I say? In 83? He was born in 63.
You said that year was Thrill.
Did I? Oh, did I? I don't know. I don't think I have anything in 83. Okay. Or maybe no, I don't know. Okay, lessons from Michael Jordan. You ready? These come basically straight from Michael Jordan, okay? And I'm going to kind of elaborate a little bit on them. Lesson number 1, you ready? Michael Jordan says, trust the game. Trust the game. He says this, and I'm quoting Michael Jordan. He says, be true to the game, because the game will be true to you. If you try to shortcut the game, then the game will shortcut you. If you put forth the effort, good things will be bestowed upon you. That's a direct quote from Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan believed that he would get out of the game exactly what he put into it. It's been said that Michael Jordan was the hardest working athlete people have ever seen. He was there early, he was there late at practice. They said he practiced just as intense as he played the game. And he would, if he ever got into, there was a fight, who was it that he punched in the face? It was one of his teammates. I forget who it was.
It was the guy with that colorful hair.
Oh, yeah, him and Rodman got into it a couple times, but it was way before that. It was in practice. Who was it? Yeah, I don't remember. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, it was Steve Kerr. Yeah, I think it was Steve Kerr. Very good. Yeah. You didn't say the last name. I'm sorry. I was thinking, Steve, who you mean? Yes, sir. You got it. It wasn't Horace Grant, and that's not why Horace Grant wore that mask. Do you know why Horace Grant wore that mask? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. What's that? There were goggles. Well, for a while he wore a mask thing, a clear mask, and then he wore goggles. Do you know why he did that? It originally was his vision, but then he got LASIK eye surgery, but he kept wearing the goggles. Does anyone know why?
To enhance his vision.
No.
Because he just kept it.
Not quite.
So he don't mess up his eyes.
No. What he said anyway, he said he wanted to still be that role model for young kids who had to wear glasses. That's all it was. And so he wanted to wear those goggles just to be that role model. I don't know. Does he? Maybe he does. He may have. Okay, let me finish the lessons. Here we go. So Michael Jordan said, trust the game. He believed that you would get out of the game exactly what you put into it. If you don't completely trust the game or think it's unfair or think that it's rigged, then deep down, you're not going to feel motivated to get everything you have. With that attitude, you've lost even before you began. Now he takes that concept, and it's not just basketball, obviously. He takes that concept and he says, with life and businesses or basketball, whatever it is that you're trying to do, whatever you put into it, you're going to get out of it. You have to put in the effort, and oftentimes you get out of it a little less than what you put into it. So that's why he worked so hard. That's why he worked so hard in practices. That's why he worked so hard at business deals. I mean, whatever it was. Basically, the concept is this. If you do the work, you get rewarded. He says there's no shortcuts. There just isn't. They don't exist. There's no shortcuts in life, is what he says. So what's going to happen is when you guys are at Pineview, or when you guys have a job, or when you guys are at home, or whatever it is, if you guys don't put in the effort, don't expect to get the reward. It's just the concept of life. And Michael Jordan took that very seriously. So he said, whatever game you're in, whatever that is, whatever situation you find yourself, whether it's a job, a relationship, Pineview, whatever it is, you have to put in the work and you have to trust that thing and you will be rewarded. Doesn't always happen at once. Doesn't always happen when you want it to, but as a general rule, overall, it will happen. Those good things will happen. Did Michael Jordan ever lose a game?
Yes.
Did you ever miss a shot?
Yes.
Of course he did. He says, and I think it was 27, if I remember right, 26 or 27. He said, 27 times I was trusted to make the game-winning shot. So they were down by 1 or down by 2 or whatever it was, and they passed him the ball, and 27 times he missed that game-winning shot. And I think that stuck with him more than even all the wins, right? And those failures just fueled him to do better. But even if he failed, he still trusted the game. He still trusted the fundamentals of the game. And that wasn't just basketball, that was life itself. All right, so lesson number 1 is trust the game. You're only going to get out of it what you put in. Number 2 is this. He would say this. He would say, don't let people get in your head. Don't let them in. You're in your head. And that is, there's no more room for anyone else. You are plenty. Don't let anyone else in your head. He says this. This is a quote from Michael Jordan. It's a heavy duty to try to do everything to please everybody. He says, I can't live with what everyone's impression of what I should be or what I should or shouldn't do. Jordan was getting a lot of attention, especially his rookie year. Sports Illustrated put him on the cover of their magazine with the words, "A star is born." His rookie year in the NBA. That quick attention aggravated a few of the NBA veterans, the ones that have been in the game for a long time. They decided to execute a freeze out on Michael Jordan in his early years. During the All-Star game, guess what they wouldn't do? They wouldn't pass him the ball. Exactly, LeVar. I think it was his first All-Star game. It was a freeze out. They wouldn't pass him the ball. And Michael Jordan, he could have gotten upset about that. He could have gotten mad. He said, oh, you guys aren't helping me. They were trying to get in his head. Do you think he let him?
No.
No, I mean, the history shows that they didn't let him. Jordan was unfazed by this. When the regular season resumed, and those NBA veterans, they're still there, right? When the regular season resumed, he continued his stellar play, and he went on to win Rookie of the Year his first year. Jordan is proof that you don't have to let other people get in your head. How many of you, maybe even today, have let somebody get in your head? I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. It all happens. It happens sometimes. And oftentimes, when someone gets in your head, listen up, when someone gets in your head, oftentimes that crowds out what's going on with you, and then what typically happens? What kind of, typically something negative is gonna happen. You make mistakes, you may just feel bad, and it may really bother you. You ever heard the phrase, they got under my skin? Have you ever heard that phrase? They get under your skin and they irritate you. I tell you what, Michael Jordan would say, man, don't let them. Don't let them. You stay in your head. You're the one that's dominating your thought process. And if you let someone get in your head, do you remember what we talked about? He who angers you, what? Do you remember? Controls you. You remember that? He who angers you controls you. That's the same thing of getting in the head. Michael Jordan would say, man, don't let that happen, because that's going to mess your game up. That's going to mess your life up. And again, not just basketball, but life in general. All right, last lesson is this. It also turned into the Nike slogan, just do it. It doesn't mean a free-for-all. It doesn't mean that you just do whatever you want, whenever you want. That's not what he's saying. He's saying there's 3 types of people in the world. You ready? This is what Michael Jordan says. He says there's 3 types of people. One type of person wants things to happen. They just want them to happen. Another type of person wishes things would happen. They can't even put a number on it. They can't even put an example on it. They just, this lofty wish. I just wish things would get better. I wish things would happen. Wanting is kind of like, okay, I know what I want. I just want it to happen. And maybe I even have a plan. People who want it to happen. People who wish things would happen. And then there's other people who make it happen. Make it happen. He says there's 3 types of people in the world. People that want it, people that wish it, and then others that make it happen. Having potential doesn't what? Do you guys remember?
Having potential doesn't come with a reward.
Close. You remember what we said? Maybe it was a week or 2 ago. It was Peter Pan. It was the Peter Pan lesson.
Potential doesn't produce results.
Pretty close. Potential. Did Peter Pan have a lot of potential?
Yes.
Do you guys have a lot of potential?
Yes.
Do you have more potential than I do?
No.
You do have more potential than I do. Your simple age. I mean, just your age. Thank you. I mentioned my age, like, yep, he's old. No. Here's the thing about potential, though. You can have all the potential in the world, but potential doesn't pay the bills. Potential is wanting and wishing, and maybe even having the ability, and maybe even having encouragement. Has anyone ever told you, hey man, I think you're kind of good at this thing, you should pursue that thing? Has anyone ever said anything like that to you? Some of you, yeah.
Yeah.
But potential doesn't pay the bills. You have to actually what?
Work.
Do it. You have to do something. You have to work at it. That's why he says, just do it. He's like, just move forward. If you have a plan, if you have an idea, if you have a dream, move in that direction. Just get moving. And I could guarantee he would say, even if you're in placement, even if you're here, you guys don't think you can pursue a potential? Or I know there's limitations, I get that, but you still can move. You still can learn. You can still be a better person at what that is that you want to do. You're not going to be in it forever. This is like a short placement. Michael Jordan would say those 3 things. He would say, trust the game, don't let people get in your head, and then just do it. Move forward. Don't just want it and wish it, I hope someday things are going to get better. No, you have to take action. It's those that proactively move forward in their dreams, that dreams become plans, and plans become goals, and becomes action. And then all those things turn into results. That's what Michael Jordan would say. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, let me show you what prizes I got for you.
Ready, Tyler? Tyler, you ready? You ready, Tyler? Oh, heck next.
These are the pay attention prizes. I found these tech deck, like the finger skateboard things. They're kind of fun. So that is your pay attention prizes. So we're gonna do those first. All right, you ready? You have to raise your hand. Well, when I ask the question. You have to raise your hand. Do not shout it out. You get one shot, and then we move on. I haven't asked the question yet. All right, you ready? And some of you may know this just from information. You may know it. Michael Jordan led the Chicago Bulls onto 6 national championships. You have to tell me each year of those 6. Lavari.
91, 92, 93, 96, 97, 98.
Which one would you like, sir?
Of course, LeBron, we know that.
Which one would you like, sir?
Did you say all that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Yep. All right, let's see here. You guys are all over the numbers, so I'm not going to ask you those because I think you were kind of trying to figure that out. All right.
Come back late.
My dad took me to Chicago. Okay, you got to put your hands down, and then I'll say 1, 2, 3, go, okay? That's what I'll do, okay? My dad took me to Chicago, and I was there. I saw I saw the stadium. I saw the Bulls logos. I shook on the doors. Where's MJ? Like, it was so cool for me. I just remember that. My dad took my picture. How old was I? All right, I got to do it again. Put all your hands down. All right, do it again. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, go, and then you got to pop them up, okay? And I'm kind of looking at nowhere so I can see the movement. Ready? I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, go.
Just do it!
Zip it. That's one of the lessons. Very good.
You just said it.
Good job, Isaac.
You just said it.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. I said, he's got a broken collarbone. He's got a broken collarbone. He's flipping it. All right, when I say go, that's when you raise your hand. Ready? All right, you guys ready? You got me all nervous. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, I saw Jeremy. I was 10.
You said you were 11.
I said 10 or 11. I said 10 or 11. All right, here's the deal. Hey, I got something for each one of you to remember the Michael Jordan lesson. So, me and, hold on. So, me in the office, we pitched in, and we said that we want to get you guys something special for this lesson. So, they're all different. I think they're all different. But these are mint condition Michael Jordan trading cards. Couple things with them. You know, because of certain rules we have around here, you cannot do trading, right? If you want to trade, both of you have to go to a staff together and say, is it okay if we trade these 2 cards? Okay? Did you hear me? Do not be just trading amongst yourselves, because I don't want you guys to get in trouble, okay? You got it? Yeah. All right. You can't pick them. I'm just going to give them to you. So you'll come up over here so you're out of camera view, and I'll hand you. Go to small groups.
Got it.
Small groups. Go, guys. Small groups. Awesome.